Good evening to all of you. It's true, I was trying to recollect how many years have I been in contact with Bernd, and I think it really was 21 years ago that I was sitting in the kickoff presentation of Bernd's software engineering course. It wasn't called iPraktikum yet, but sort of same thing, you know. Funny people from industry presenting strange topics, and you know, I was sitting there scratching my head and what is this about? But it turned out to be the best course of my entire studies. So I sincerely hope that for every one of you, this will be a great course too. So I'll be talking about augmented imagination. What is that? So let me start with augmented reality. That's my current focus of work at Siemens Corporate Technology today, augmented reality and virtual reality. Our department is called Simulation and Digital Twin, so augmented reality and virtual reality are about how you interact with this. And here's an example of something that we presented at Hannover Messe last spring. It shows, you know, temperature values in a chemical production plant, and this is stuff that would have been magical 20 years ago. And nowadays, it's just there, we can use it and engineer a solution. So I want to go beyond this, beyond augmented reality, to augmented imagination. And let me give you some context first. So you may have heard this before already, so we're Siemens, you know, we make big stuff, power plants, trains, hospital equipment, factory automation equipment, stuff that makes the world work. And as the world becomes more and more digital, more of what we do becomes digital too. In fact, more and more of what we do is just plain software. So we make software that help people design products, that help people plan factories, how to make products, software that tells machines what to do, and sometimes software that tells people what to do too in the factories. And this is all very successful. But lately, I've been worrying about something. I've actually been worrying about these people. So, if we're honest, these folks on the right here, these factory workers, these are the ones who are still there. We have already put a lot of people out of work, and by this I mean we as an industry, by creating robots that, you know, take over people's jobs and do things in an automatic fashion. And the people are still there. Often they're just there because robots are more expensive and the people have, you know, better hands, and as robots get better, these people will be put out of a job too. And in fact, some people who still work are just being automated because the system tells them, go here, go there, do this. If you've seen someone work in logistics, then you'll know what I mean. Okay, this guy in the middle, he's safe because he's planning the factory, you may think. But of course, we're working on factories that design themselves. So any kind of Industry 4.0 scenario does like automatic reconfiguration of plants and factories. And so this is kind of endangered too. Now the folks on the left, they're perhaps the most safe because they're the ones who are actually doing the thinking and the creating and, you know, designing products. But, you know, generative design will also design and create products for you. So this is an interesting world we find ourselves in. What are the people actually going to do? What are we going to do in the future? Are we going to have a new world where we become demigods? We can shape the world to our imagination? Or will we become slaves to the machines, caught in a system that we built ourselves? And this is serious. You know, I'm saying this with a smile, but this is actually more your future than mine. So you have maybe another 50 years of professional experience. I have maybe 30, so I'm probably safe. But your jobs are going to look way different from anything we can imagine today. And I'd like to find out what these can be like. And I think we want to go for something where people can still be human, but cooperate in a creative way with machines and stay in control. And when in doubt, I think we should go for demigods and not slaves to the machines. So what can people actually do? People can imagine. And of course, you know, we can think of nice ideas separately. We're better when we imagine together, and we can combine our ideas to one consistent whole. And machines can already help us with this. And it's called, this is kind of the somewhat dull-sounding topic of requirements management. You know, you're thinking of how to build a system. Machines will help us keep these different ideas in one consistent whole. And Bernd will be teaching you about this, or some of you he already has. But in this case, machines are not being creative. They're just keeping ideas aligned. Now, I maintain machines can actually be creative too. Machines can also imagine things. And if we find some way of helping machines inspire people, and people inspire machines, and everyone being imaginative together, then we can have augmented imagination. So what's this going to look like? I want you to build me a system in this practicum, we'll get there, that will tackle the topic of augmented imagination from 5 different aspects. One is building worlds. One is recording actions of people. One is creating stories, user stories. You'll learn about that in this course too. One is simulating behaviors of people and things, and one is generating experiences that we can share with stakeholders before a system is really built. Now, this sounds a little meta. You'll be dealing with these topics in any iPraktikum topic, writing stories and so on. Here I want you to work on systems that will actually improve the process of writing such stories. And before it gets too meta and too abstract, I want to focus on one particular problem domain, which we can all relate to. So this is about building playgrounds. And this is what I want us to work on together for augmented imagination. Now, what does augmented imagination look like if our task is to design a playground? So let's imagine we're 4 people. We meet in a park that has just, a couple trees, and that's all. And we want to build a playground. We want to design a playground. So what we do, well, we start with augmented reality. We pull out a phone, we map things. There's a tree here, there's another tree there. I think we should use this tree, incorporate that in design somewhere. Watch out for that bird's nest over there. We want to protect that. Maybe we could draw a little house here. That tree is made of oak. We capture all this information using speech and augmented reality for gesture detection, and create a static 3D model of what our new playground is supposed to look like. Store that somewhere. Okay, now extend that, capture people's behavior. We go from a static model to a dynamic model. Since we can capture motion, we can say, well, actually, to get in this playhouse down there, I actually have to kind of duck under this tree. We can capture a 3D model of a person doing that. We can figure out who's doing what. We have a lot of people in the scene. And we can create a linked dynamic model with multiple actors. So still, only minutes have passed since we met in the park, and we already have a static and dynamic model of our future playground. Now, let's go for stories. Let's go for something verbal. Don't read all this. I did an experiment yesterday, actually, the day before yesterday. I fed talktotransformer.com, which is a system by OpenAI, with some sort of seed text for what user stories might be like. So, hey, this is a great playground. My 6-year-old loves to, and the rest is generated by AI. Loves to run around and jump in the playhouse, but it wasn't enough to show me this new room. Is the one in the kitchen really empty? And where's the... So this makes no sense, right? This is AI's best imagination of a playground. It makes no sense. The other one says, there's a slide there. Well, that makes more sense. The point is, it doesn't have to make sense. It just has to inspire us as humans. So another one will say, there might be a bear there. Oh, that reminds me, maybe I should build a fence around the playground. Another one says there's a pool, so maybe I should provide access to water. So we use AI not to substitute what we're doing, normally writing user stories, we still do that. We use that to inspire us so we can write better user stories. Still, only a few minutes have passed since we met in the park. Now we add physics simulation, we add ergonomics simulation. These are systems that we have within Siemens, by the way. We'll simulate the behavior of people. We start with the first motions I did under that tree. We add more actors, we add crowds, we add simulated people, we add simulated seesaws. We now have an augmented reality simulation of the entire playground. And we can experience it on our mobile devices. Now, again, only a few minutes have passed since we started. Now all we need to do is, generate a high-quality video to convince our stakeholders. Bernd will show you how to do software theater. And that usually takes a couple days. So I think we can do that instantaneously. So what we do is we just use video style transfer. This is what Hollywood does, too. You take a simple animation, and then you apply a realism filter, which uses AI somehow or other. And then you have, Lion King. So this actually works. It's like cheating, but it works. And I'd like you to try that out on something as complicated as requirements modeling and generating scenes of what this playground could look like. So my time is running short, I see, but we're almost done. I just want you to build me a system that does all this, no more and no less. And I see some doubts in your faces, right? This is way too big for an iPraktikum topic. Well, that may be true, but it may also not be. There are all those little boxes which you can cross-check later. I listed what you need for this. This is all stuff which is available. You just need to put it together. This is software engineering. It's about putting stuff together. And honestly, even if you only make progress in 4 out of these 5 fields, it's still going to be way cool. So That's really all I have to say. Oh yeah, one thing, any technical skill that you can bring to this is going to be good because we're kind of touching all technical bases that there are in modern computer science in this course. And otherwise, just bring some enthusiasm, some imagination, and some dedication, and we're going to have a great project together. So, thank you.